Thanks so much, Pete. Ah, what a gift to be together. And I should check with you, Pete. Is this sound okay? Level okay? Good. Okay, great. Well, what a gift to be together. Let's just take a moment to sink in and let our good fortune register. This priceless gift of being able to connect, to share Dharma through the combination of an ancient gift that has passed to us through over 100 generations of teachers and students, passing on the profound wisdom of the Buddha way, and also through the magic and gift of modern technology, that somehow, by some miracle, I haven't a clue how, but somehow we're able to just click a link and join together here and create an online Sangha and have an hour together. Magic. Absolutely amazing that these teachings have survived for 2,500 years. And more than survived, thrived and enriched and developed and matured in their different forms. And we are among the most privileged of all Dharma students to have access to the Dzogchen teachings, so often regarded as the very pinnacle of Vajrayana. And Vajrayana regarded as building on the beautiful foundation of Theravadan Buddhism, the original form transmitted directly by the Buddha, then developed and expanded by sages like Nagarjuna and others into the Mahayana, the great vehicle, which takes as its aspiration not just individual liberation, but the liberation, the awakening and welfare of all conscious creatures. And that, of course, is the Bodhisattva aspiration, which may well be the highest ideal the human mind has ever conceived. To devote one's life or even lives to honing oneself as an instrument for the welfare and awakening of all. Honing oneself to awaken as fully as possible, to mature as fully as possible, to develop one's skills and capacities so as to be able to teach and help and heal as fully as possible, with the supreme goal of bringing all conscious creatures to awakening, to the recognition of their true nature, understanding that we've all been suffering from a case of mistaken identity. We've really thought we're these little bodies and little egos and forgot, not yet realized that we are something far, far more miraculous and grand. Haven't yet realized, for the most part, that we are not only more than we think, we're more than we dare think, and more than we can think. Because who or what we are is beyond all concepts. We are transconceptual. Pure awareness, Rigpa, being, conscious being. And as we begin to realize who we are and who others really are, then the Bodhisattva aspiration starts to shift. Because as we begin to glimpse who we really are and who others really are, it makes total sense that we would want to awaken to that identity as fully and continuously as we can, and that we would want to help others awaken to their true identity as fully as and continuously as they can. And suddenly the bodhisattva aspiration goes from a nice vision to simple common sense. This is what you aspire to when you recognize who you are and who others really are. What other aspiration? What else could be worth doing once you realize that? And so the bodhisattva aspiration becomes, of course, what else would I want to do? What could be more satisfying, more fully expressive of who I am, or more worthy given who others really are? How natural, how obvious, how beautiful. So the bodhisattva aspiration goes from being a nice idea to an inspiring vision, to something we aspire to cultivate and strengthen in ourselves, to the recognition, of course, this is actually what I most deeply want. What I most deeply want is to awaken as fully as possible, to mature as fully as possible, to develop myself as fully as possible for my own well-being and awakening, but also so as to be an optimal instrument for the welfare and awakening of all. Again, how obvious, of course. What else could be more satisfying? And so we recite the refuge and bodhicitta, but as with any refuge or any bodhicitta aspiration, we can do it from different levels. We can do it from, oh, that's a nice idea, through to the level we've been taught of recognition we've just been discussing. That, of course, this is what I want. This is just what makes total sense. This is the best use one can make of a life once you realize who you really are. It's like, of course, this is what I want to do. So in English, in Buddha, Dharma, and supreme spiritual community, we go for refuge until fully enlightened by the power of all six perfections, from generosity to non-dual wisdom, for the sake of all beings. May we realize Buddhahood. So once we've glimpsed this awe and delight inspiring vision of what's most worth doing with a life, then the question becomes, well, how do we do it? Well, we begin by taking refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and supreme spiritual community. But again, as with all profound ideas, these can be understood as different levels. We can take refuge in the Buddha as a man who lived 2,500 years ago. We can take refuge in the idea of awakening. or we can take refuge in Buddha nature. We can take refuge in our own deepest being. And what that suggests is that at a very fundamental level, we can trust ourselves. We can trust it at the deepest level. Who and what we are is trustworthy and awe-inspiring and a source and reservoir of wisdom. And what we find as we practice, as we gradually clear away the cobwebs and the frenetic hyperactivity of mind, at first we just get moments of stillness. Or maybe we get moments where there's still activity of mind, but somehow we're not lost into it. We recognize what always rests behind the mental activity, pure awareness. And we can take refuge in that portal, opening us into our own depths and into the universe and into the fundamental nature of reality. And to fulfill this bodhisattva aspiration, we also take refuge in the Dharma, which can be also understood at different levels. Be understood as the teachings, or understood as the fundamental laws of reality. And we are encouraged, if we take refuge in the Dharma, we're taking refuge in the way things are, the fundamental nature of reality. And the beautiful implication of taking refuge in this is that we can trust. We can trust the Dharma, the way things are at a fundamental level. And we take refuge in the supreme spiritual community, our community. This collection of people, all of whom are deeply dedicated to the highest good. All these people dedicating their time on a Sunday to the highest good for themselves and for others. Taking refuge in the Sangha. And I encourage you to just take a moment to recognize that this is a community of people you can trust. Yes, we're all human. We all still screw up. We will continue to screw up. But the difference between a Sangha and other communities is that everyone screws up, but Sangha members clean up. Everyone here has a commitment to the good. Everyone here has a commitment to the good of all. And I just encourage you to get to touch into your wish for the good of all. Wishing everyone in this community the highest good. And take a moment to let in that everyone in this community right now is wishing you the highest good. Let that in. Let in what it's like to be in a community in which every single person wishes you good. And in which you wish good for every single person. Beautiful. So we go for refuge, but we also practice these 6 qualities of heart and mind, the 6 affections, as they're sometimes called, the 6 enlightening qualities of heart and mind, beginning with generosity, ethics, effort or zeal or enthusiastic practice, forbearance, forgiveness, meditation, and non-dual wisdom, that is, seeing beyond the duality of the mind's concepts, appreciating, developing the wisdom that comes from a trans-conceptual, trans-rational, direct intuition, seeing. And when this these qualities come to culmination, that is Buddhahood. And so the last line, for the sake of all beings, may we realize Buddhahood. And beautifully, our practice, our central practice, is the ultimate in ease, because we simply open our eyes for the trekchö or sky gazing practice. We look maybe slightly elevated gaze in front of us. And we adopt a balance of alertness and relaxation. And a good way of facilitating that is to sit with the back relatively straight, head erect, and then to relax the rest of the body. So you have a firm back, firm, not tight, but firm, erect back. And then just allow the rest of the muscles in the body to relax so they hang from the skeleton. And because of the somatopsychic link, that posture supports and facilitates and evokes a corresponding state of mind of a relaxed alertness. So we just allow the body-mind to relax. We look gently ahead and slightly above. And we're just aware of whatever happens. Being with whatever happens in the outer world or our inner world in a very gently open, relaxed, accepting mode. Whatever arises in the mind or the body, just let it be there. Watch it arise, watch it change, and watch it pass. No need to interfere. And you might like to even go a step beyond acceptance to an attitude of welcoming whatever experience arises. Whatever arises, welcome. Welcome. And that attitude of welcoming undercuts problematic states like fear or anger or resistance or clinging. Something arises, welcome. Something goes, welcome. And notice your state of awareness at this moment. And now turn your attention to an object in the environment and just take a look at it. And now really look at it. Really give it your attention. Notice what you were missing before. Really look at it. Sharply, clearly, discerningly, alertly. Good. And now come back with your eyes ahead and slightly raised and really be aware. Really be aware. Notice that you can be sharper and clearer and more alert. That's what you want. That's the difference between ordinary awareness and awakened awareness. Alert, clear, sharp. Notice the difference. It's not a struggle. It's not a strain. You're not being tight, but you're just being more alert simply by the intention. Just intending to be really alert now. And you might just check to see in this alert, clear state, or maybe it's alert and may not feel clear. There may be stuff arising in the mind, but that's fine. Just be aware of it. See if you can notice if your awareness is open 360 degrees. So it's almost as though you had eyes in the back of your head. Your awareness is not limited to what you see in front of you. There's a peripheral awareness and an awareness of what's behind. It's not a direct perception, but it is an open sphere of awareness. And take a couple of slow, deep breaths. And in a moment on exhalation, I'm going to invite you to imagine the air going out of your mouth or nostrils and going to infinity in front of you. And follow that air with your awareness. Allow your awareness to, the sense of your awareness to expand to infinity in front. So as you breathe out, imagine the air going to infinity in front of you and your awareness following. So recognizing the boundlessness of awareness in front of you. Awareness reaching to infinity in front of you. What you're actually doing is recognizing the transspatial nature of awareness. That space arises within awareness. And you might just check and see if you can extend the sense of awareness behind you. And you might just allow the sense of awareness to expand on either side. Yeah. Good. And just come back to relax, resting in awareness, but make it an alert awareness. And now, just notice awareness filling your body. Notice how awareness fills the body so you can be aware of any part of the body or all of the body. Awareness in and through the entire body. And notice, even if your eyes are closed as they might be now, that there's an awareness of the environment around you. And that there's an awareness of the world on which we're resting and encompassing us. And come back to the body and notice awareness in the body. And now notice the body in awareness. Notice that actually our experience of the body is floating in awareness. And notice that the environment is in awareness. Our experience of the environment is in awareness. And notice that the world is in awareness. All our experience of the world, everything we know about it is in awareness. And notice that the entire cosmos is in awareness. Our experience of the entire cosmos is in our awareness. Every experience, all we know of this entire cosmos is in awareness. So who are you? What are you? Who are you? What are you? And come back and just let your awareness rest in front, or let your awareness be particularly in front of you, but continuing to embrace the entire cosmos. So we started by just appreciating the miracles of transmission and technology, which allows us to be together. We reflected on what's really worth doing with a human life. We looked at the Bodhisattva aspiration and the possibility that this is the greatest and most encompassing ideal the human mind has ever conceived. Certainly one of them. We looked at the logic of what happens as we recognize who we are and who others are, and that the Bodhisattva aspiration is simply what makes most sense as a way to live. Once we appreciate that we're far more than we thought. And we looked at the refuge and bodhicitta, the different levels at which one can take such concepts as taking refuge in the Buddha or in the Dharma or in the Sangha, appreciating that there are always different perspectives and levels of interpretation that one can take about any concept in general, but also any aspiration, any prayer. And much human conflict comes from interpretation of prayers and aspirations in different levels. And then we sat and rested in open awareness. And rested with an emphasis on simply accepting whatever experiences arise and letting them come and go as they do. And going beyond even acceptance to welcoming each and every experience, knowing that welcoming undercuts a variety of unskillful attitudes and mind states. And then we took a moment to look away, and then to look at an object, and then to really look at it, and realize that most of the time we're kind of looking half consciously at things. But if we're really alert and bring presence and energy and attention to the looking, we see so much more. And then we brought that attitude and energy and alertness back to simply resting in awareness, and found that, oh yeah, there are degrees of awareness. There's ordinary awareness, which once you get a taste of the greater degrees of alertness and presence and aliveness, that can merge into what's sometimes called awakened awareness. And then we just played with different perspectives, recognizing that our usual unexamined presupposition is an egoic stance, and the ego is an unexamined presupposition. And we looked at, well, yeah, we usually experience awarenesses in the body and the environment outside. But with a little reflection and a little judo shift of perspective, we realize that everything is in awareness. All we know is in awareness. So for us, everything we know is in awareness. So the body floats in awareness. The environment floats in awareness. The world and the cosmos are held and braced within awareness. Very different perspectives, and not that hard to get. So we did a lot, and I'd like to open it up for you for discussion, comments, questions. So please, yeah.
You can write your questions directly into the chat if you would like. That would be great.
Yeah, or just, yeah, we'll speak them.
Or you can raise your hand with the little action that you can.
These meditations often quiet people down. But If you'd like to say anything, then share anything, it would be a gift to us all. Hmm.
I mean, I have a quick question, Lama Roger, if I could.
Please.
You sort of touched on it there. I often find with the teaching that I may have a lot of questions prior to the meditation, and then after the meditation, I have less questions. Um, do you find this to be the case, and is it for obvious reasons, or is there something else going on?
I think there are several things going on. One is, that questioning attitude, which I certainly have in spades, and one of our Sangha members named the ocean of questions. uh, they particularly arise when the intellect is very active, and sitting just quiets the intellect. So in one sense, there's not that, what's this, what's that? It just settles, and it's not that the questions aren't valid or useful in their own time, but when the mind settles, there isn't that kind of inner pressure to question the same way. There's more of the acceptance, allowing. So that's one thing. And sometimes specific questions get answered in the meditation itself. If the mind is holding a question, as it settles, the responses and answers from our own inner wisdom are likely to arise. So those are a couple of possibilities. Either of those fit for you?
Makes sense to me. Thank you. We do have a question in the chat here as well, from Joe. When in open awareness with eyes open, they want to focus on something. Should we allow to be more defocused? I guess, should we look to have them more defocused if they focus, I think is the question. Is that right, Joe?
Yeah. So I guess depends on focused on what. If you're looking, basically awareness is available to us whether attention is focused or unfocused. And for the kind of awareness we're cultivating, which is just a recognizing awareness, recognizing that at this moment and every moment that there's an awareness which is embracing, holding in all experiences, then it's, that is easier to recognize when we're relaxed and open. If the mind, you want to focus on something for a while, fine. Experiment, see for yourself. Does it help? There's a natural tendency for the attention to focus and narrow in front, following the direction of the eyes. Okay, just be aware of that, notice it, and relax. See what happens for yourself. Yeah. And Fiona, yeah, hi.
It's been a long time since I've used this technology, so I have to remember how to unmute. I wanted to thank you so much for this teaching. I always enjoy your teachings, Lama. But today, it isn't a question, it's just an experience that I had, that I got a connection in a way that I've never had before with the simple words of taking refuge that I've said so many times. And today your teaching made me understand them, the aspiration, that connection. It just seemed to me so far, well, I can say that I wish everybody well, but what is that really an experience? What is that thing called compassion? How do I connect? And today, it seemed very clear. And then you went back and read it from the prayer book. And it was not an aha moment. It was like a connection that it was so simple. And you always have that ability to make me, when I think, oh, I don't know any of these people. This isn't a Sangha. the energy isn't here, it's just a picture on a screen. And my mind can overcome that and see that connection, feel that aspiration for everybody's well-being. All these little heads that are here.
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't have to be just limited that way. So thank you. It was a real step for me today. Thank you so much, Lama.
Oh, thank you, Fiona. How beautiful. So it sounds like that you really got two things. One was both heart and mind. The heart you just expressed so beautifully as yeah, we can hold different perspectives on everything. There are always multiple perspectives we can take, and we step back and look, yeah, there's little squares on or rectangles on a screen with a face in front. Yeah, so what? Or we can take the other perspective of, wow, here is all these people dedicating themselves, coming, giving their time up to cultivate the highest ideals and aspirations and well-being for everyone. It's like, wow, out. It's just a little judo flip, you know? And we can do that at any time. We have that choice. So you gave beautiful expression to that shift in perspective and to the heart opening that comes with it. So bless you. Thank you. And then the other thing you said, which is so important, Fiona, is that we can repeat these prayers endlessly, and it's good to have them rattling around in our in our minds. I mean, it's good. You'll find times when it's like you're with someone or you see a problem situation, and the thoughts will pop up. So they're in there, but there's real power in working with them actively. So instead of just repeating them, to actively explore what they mean. And in our tradition, reading something is the first step of a 3-step process. Traditionally, one listened to texts or vows, but now we have the benefit of being able to read them. So the first step is Shravana, or listening to them or reading them, just listening or reading. But the second step is reflection, taking time to use the intellect to actually reflect on this. Okay, what's this mean? What does this really mean to take refuge in the Buddha? And I find it very helpful to assume there's always a deeper possibility and perspective in interpretation. So it's like, okay, we can take refuge in this little guy who lived 2,500 years ago and he did lots of good things. So, which is, that's wonderful. Or we can take it through successive levels of what is Buddha, and all the way through to Buddha nature is this moment speaking and at this moment listening. And it's just, it becomes so we reflect. And the more we reflect, the more perspectives we're able to see and the greater depths we're able to appreciate. So that's a very active process. And then the third step is beyond reflection, is meditation, where we've recited the phrase, we've reflected on it, and then we just allow the mind to settle, and it becomes, and just let the reflection and recitation work on us and within us. And occasionally it may be helpful as we just sit there just to repeat the phrase, I take refuge in the Buddha, and just then go back into silent meditation. I take refuge in Sangha, back into silent meditation. And that becomes a whole nother practice that takes it to a very different level. So yeah, so I think you're tapping into something potentially very deep, Fiona. Thanks so much for sharing that. Yeah. Hi, Roberta.
Oh, hold
Oh,
on.
we're almost out of time, I see. Okay.
Yep, we'll try and get to this one.
We'll do it. we'll hopefully handle it quickly today.
Keep it
How
short.
how did this happen? Okay, Roberta, please.
Just a quick thank you on the back of Fiona saying thank you. I just want to say thank you for your teaching, and in the same way, like certain things just kind of like settling in, and awareness. Like part of me goes like, how can I open up to, like, I'm so much more than this, ego place, like Buddha and this vastness. But just I just had this experience of just settling in, and like what a gift it is for me to do that it's a benefit for all of us,
Yeah.
to have that
Yeah.
openness. So anyway, just
Yeah.
thank you.
It is. And remember, Roberta, and remember all of us, myself included, these are practices. It's, these are practices. So each, it's not going, sometimes it happens like that, but most of the time it's a little deeper and a little more richer understanding and apprehension each time. And that's what we're doing. And remember, patience is one of the virtues. So one I have trouble with, but still. Anyway. Okay, well, wonderful to be with you. Peter, anything you want to say before we close?
No, thank you. Well, I guess, yeah. Members only event, Tuesday, November 29th. That time is 7:30 to 8:30 Eastern time. So I neglected to say that. Please check out the masterclass. Check out zochen.org. And thank you all for being here. It's beautiful to sit with you. Thank you, Lama Roger.
And we had a message in the chat from Ryan saying, can we dedicate the benefits? And yes, indeed we can. So may all that we have, let's take a moment to just overflow with gratitude for the chance of being together and having these wonderful teachings and opening into them. And may all that we have heard and experienced and seen and shared and learned and open to today help us awaken, grow, mature, become ever more effective instruments for the welfare and awakening of all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. See you soon.
Thanks, Pete.